Ezekiel 11:22 through 23, where God's glory resides. The word glory here literally means weight or significance and refers to the wonder and majesty of the living God. At times in the Old Testament, God's glory was displayed to his people to show that he was with them. When Moses set up the tabernacle, God's glory filled the tent and Moses was not able to enter it. Later, when Solomon built the temple, the cloud of God's glory appeared again. But during Ezekiel's ministry, the prophet saw a vision of God's glory leaving the temple in Jerusalem. God's glory left the presence of God's people because God's people were involved in unrelenting sin. Their idol worship permeated everything to the point that they went to the temple to pay homage to other idols instead of the one and true living God. They even painted images of idols and unclean animals on the walls of the temple. God's message to his people about their sin was clear. It was wrong. He told them to stop sinning. He warned them about its consequences, and he warned them that he would not tolerate it forever. God took the most precious thing that he could have from his people, his presence. Regardless of what God's people valued, God's glory was the best reality they had ever experienced. It is interesting to note how God slowly removed his glory from his people. God's glory moved from above the cherubim in the most holy place to the threshold of the temple, then moved to the east gate of the temple, and then made one final stop above the Mount of Olives. God slowly and reluctantly removed himself from his people with a display that left no doubt as to what was happening. Not long after God removed his glory from Solomon's temple, the temple was destroyed, and God's glory never returned to that temple. But God's glory did return to the world, and it returned in a way that was unlike anything the world had ever seen. John explains, "The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth." Jesus fully embodied the glory of God. To see God, one only needs to look to Jesus. Following his short life, Jesus offered himself up as the perfect sacrifice for sin. To end all other sacrifices, he gave parting words to his followers and departed to heaven from the Mount of Olives. His glory is with his people today because all who trust in Jesus possess his Spirit and live their lives reflecting God's glory in an ever-increasing way.